Ryan?
Amy, thanks. Mike, thanks for sticking around. Lots to talk about here. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's start with CPAC now. Winners and losers, because certainly a lot of things change as we exit Orlando and the conference we saw.
Well, clearly, Donald Trump is still at the epicenter of the Republican Party. He rehashed kind of his litany of success as president of the United States. I guess most importantly, given where we're at right now, the fact that we were able to get the vaccine so quickly and before he actually left office, the great news with Johnson & Johnson, et cetera. But I think a good win for Republicans in general, because with Donald Trump saying he's not going to form a third party, that will keep a galvanized party against whoever the Democrat nominee will be in 4 years, whether it be Joe Biden or if he chooses to serve a second term or not. But I think he won, and I think the losers in this would what I would call the Washington establishment. People like former Vice President Cheney's daughter. It was not exactly a fan favorite there. And so it's kind of the Washington, D.C. Republicans versus what we call Main Street Republicans or blue-collar Republicans led by President Trump. There'll be some internal discussion there, but in general, a good week for Republicans. They're galvanized against the more left-leaning movements created by the new president.
Yeah, Mike, we heard Doug Luzader mention the strong showing from Governor DeSantis in that poll. Now he gets back to a full legislative session that starts tomorrow. And Mike, we talk about thousands of bills, but these are important bills that affect people's lives. What are some ones that stand out to you?
Well, absolutely. There'll be about 2,500 bills filed. I would imagine less than 250 of those, less than 10%, will actually pass. Ron DeSantis is riding a high right now, as talked about at CPAC. He is the second choice among Republicans for president. That will help him in the legislative session. He has called for an approximately $96 billion budget. And one of the items he's going to take on is what we call big tech. He believes strongly that everyone should have the right to be on, quote, big tech, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, etc. And if you're taken off, there has to be a valid excuse for it, and it needs to be a level playing field, both for conservatives and for liberals. I think that's going to be one of the big pushes. A second big one will be what we call auto insurance. Right now, it's called PIP, and that means if you're in an auto accident, the first $10,000 of your medical care is covered. He might switch to what's called mandatory bodily insurance, meaning it becomes an at-fault insurance. The concern there is it might mean higher uninsured rates or even higher rates in general, but they want to make the person who caused the accident pay as a person who's not at fault. So that should be another major debate, which could impact the cost of your auto insurance.
Yeah, and Mike, as you know, the Republican Party has a stronger majority than they had before. How will that influence how some of these issues play out?
Well, I think one of the things that Florida Republicans want to push is say, look, our elections, unlike in 2000, run very smoothly. We should be the model for all states to make sure that not only they've done correctly, but they're actually the results are come in very quickly, so you don't have the shenanigans of what happened during the last election. And so I think that might be a push. You also see, I think, a push to make sure that Second Amendment is strongly protected. And probably the biggest concern to everyone watching the show today is, hey, no new taxes. Because our economy is running pretty well, we don't have a pension problem like New York or California or Illinois. We're not going to have a tax increase despite spending probably about $3 or $4 billion more. It's because our economy has stayed pretty strong despite the fact that we've not had a lot of tourists come into our great state.
We'll see what happens when it all starts tomorrow. Mike, great insight as always. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Ryan. Have a great week.
You as well, my friend. Danielle?
All right, Ryan, thanks.